Hi guys, I just wanted to welcome you to our brand new series called Movie Minis. Today, Claire talked about the movie Matilda and why you should really go give it a watch. Hopefully, if you've been on the fence about watching it, this will help you make a decision. As always, please remember to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and Spotify. Also, don't forget to go subscribe to our YouTube for some exclusive behind the scenes content. Anyways, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to Social Distance. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We call it Movie Minis, where we go through and we have short little 10 to 12 minute episodes where we talk about some of our favorite films and why you should or should not watch them. Today Claire is going to be starting us off. Claire?
Yeah.
Take it away.
So the idea with this is that none of my three comrades here have seen this movie. So I'll be convincing them to watch this movie as well as anyone listening or watching today. And the movie that I selected for this most important occasion is the movie Matilda. I believe it's like 1996 was when it was released, but it's one of my very favorites. And so I'm going to be giving you some reasons in the form of a persuasive essay outline if you care about that, for why you should watch Matilda.
Classical Kids Gang.
Oh yeah. Shout out to last week. Okay. So it's based on a book by Roald Dahl, which you guys may have read before. But it's directed by Danny DeVito, and it stars a couple of pretty famous people from the 90s. We'll get into that. The basic story is this. Matilda Wormwood is very different from her family. She grows up with not very much social interaction with anyone besides her parents and her brother, and they all pay very little attention to her. Her father, Mr. Wormwood, is played by Danny DeVito, and he sells used cars for unfair prices and basically scams his clients. Her mother, Mrs. Wormwood, who's played by Rhea Perlman, she leaves Matilda at home alone from a very young age so she can go play bingo all day. At the end of each day, the entire family comes to sit in front of the TV and they eat their frozen dinners and they argue. So in spite of this, or maybe because of these circumstances, Matilda grows up very quickly. There's a lot of scenes at the beginning of her cooking for herself. She learns to read at the age of 2, about the age of 2. And very quickly the library becomes her only comfort. So she reads everything. And suddenly she feels less alone in her own family because there are people like her in the books, and she finds friendship within the books. And she's never had any friends before. So eventually she's allowed to attend school at Cruncham Hall, which is run by the urban legend Miss Trunchbull. Miss Trunchbull and Mr. Wormwood share the same motto, which is very prominent in the movie. They both look her right in the eyes and they say, "I'm smart, you're dumb, I'm big, you're little, I'm right, you're wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it." So Ms. Trunchbull is famous for her rules and her punishments, which are all insane. But even under these circumstances at school, Matilda meets some really great friends, and she's never experienced that before. It's really a good experience for her. She also has an amazing teacher, Miss Honey, and Miss Honey quickly notices how talented she is and smart, and she is basically the shining light in this school. She helps Matilda and her classmates to thrive even in this terrible school. So with Miss Honey as her encouragement, Matilda finds some hope, and through a couple of different circumstances, which I won't get into because it would kind of spoil it, and it's very complicated. It's a very intense plot. She finds out that she's even actually more special than she originally felt. It's a whole different plot line, but basically she finds out that she has magic powers. So here are the 3 reasons why you should watch Matilda. First of all, Matilda portrays real life through the lens of fantasy, but it remains grounded the entire time. The second reason is that Matilda shows the importance of family and relationships, even if the family you're born into doesn't love you as they should. And then third, the format of the movie is genius. And I said genius. Okay, so firstly, Matilda portrays real life through a caricatured lens. It's a fantasy movie, technically. The characters of Matilda, especially her parents and Miss Trunchbull, are larger than life, and the situations or the settings that they are in are equally outlandish. However, the things that they say and do are not so far off from reality. There's themes of feeling alone and feeling belittled or even neglected, and they're very accurately portrayed. The caricatured nature also makes it more fun to watch than sad. Like, the entire movie is hilarious, and I don't know how to convey that here, but it's hilarious. Matilda plays these pranks on her parents to get back at them for their bad behavior, and these scenes just are all the better because of how crazy her parents are, and Danny DeVito, especially. So, secondly, Matilda shows the importance of family and relationships. So this is explored more at the end of the movie. I won't get into much detail because it spoils the ending. But the main theme is that just because you don't feel at home in your own family does not mean that you can never find true family or find true love. And it's very sad that the world can relate to this type of theme. While I can't relate to it myself, my knowledge of this, how real this is, made me feel pretty strong emotions toward it. And I actually, I do get choked up every time I watch it, even though it's kind of corny. And then thirdly, the format is just amazing. I don't even know how to really describe it. You kind of have to watch it. But Danny DeVito directs the movie, and he does such a good job matching the mood of the original book. It really feels like a nostalgic movie, and I think it would feel nostalgic whatever time of your life you watch it in. It's set in the 90s, so that's great. The tone of the movie is very whimsical and fun, and just the perfect amount of corny. It kind of goes along with a lot of the cult classic movies that they have a touch of corniness, but it's also just a really solid film. It's very filled with energy, and it's hard to even show all of the detail or convey to you all of the ways that Danny DeVito goes all over the top in every moment. And the acting is actually really good. So basically what I'm trying to say is go watch Matilda. It's really worth your time. It's a great movie to watch with other people as well. My family and I really enjoy watching it together. So Matilda shows the importance of family and relationships. It's larger than life, but yet really grounded. And because of Danny DeVito and his directing and the acting of the entire cast, it's just really well done. So if you can connect to any of these themes, or if you appreciate the 90s, just go watch Matilda. That's my advice to you. So now we'll go off to an ad break, and then we'll come back for some questions. Okay, and we're back. So now we're going to have a little bit of question time about this movie, and they'll even offer some refutation if they have it.
Okay, I actually want to know. You said it was like a fantasy type thing? Or sort of, maybe? Because
yeah, it is.
Like, how much? Because...
Okay, it's kind of hard to explain because most of the movie, like I said, is really realistic in a lot of ways, but kind of combined with the really over-the-top nature of some of it. And then, like I said, I briefly mentioned that Matilda finds out that she has magical powers. So those two things combine to make the fantasy part of it. But really, it's I wouldn't enjoy it as much if it was totally all fantasy.
Yeah.
And it adds more, corniness than any sort of depth to the story, just because it's, I don't know, just fun, and the CGI is kind of bad.
Okay.
It's all good.
Okay, so then, what genre would you put it in?
That's a really great question, because I feel like just whimsical fantasy or whimsical... I don't know. It basically is the genre that Roald Dahl created, and so I don't know what he would describe his books as.
Okay, because I've never read a Roald Dahl book, so I don't know.
Really?
Are you kidding
never
me?
have. No, I never have.
That's so sad. That's such a sad life.
Guess that explains a lot of things. Just kidding.
Does it, though? Anyways.
I don't think I have either, though.
Ooh, I have a partner in crime.
This is so sad.
Claire,
Evan,
quick
you
side
Charlie
note.
and the Chocolate
This
Factory?
is so sad. Can we get 1,000 likes?
What do you say, Leah?
Quick side note, my dad really, after listening to our first episode, was it? When you talked about Matilda the first time, he really wants you to know that he, met Roald Dahl or something.
What?
Whoa.
And,
What?
I don't know what... I need to refine...
Doesn't your dad meet, literally everyone?
Yeah, he made the Queen of England laugh when he was little.
Oh yeah.
He curtsied instead of bowed, and she giggled. Anyway, this is not about my dad. This is about Matilda, and I have a question for you regarding it. Okay, so you were talking about that kind of the realization that she has over time that she really is more special than she ever thought. And I think along with that, it's kind of implied that, you know, that life could be a lot better than she ever thought.
Exactly.
So, what, from a cinematography standpoint, what does Danny DeVito do with, like, warmth and tone and just, like, generally, like, the aesthetic of it to kind of convey that transition? Or does he do anything?
It's kind of it's kind of subtle because the movie is really accessible to a lot of people, so it's a lot of it is in the set. Basically, there's a moment where she goes to Miss Honey's cottage, and Miss Honey is this really poor teacher living by herself, doesn't really have any friends besides these kids that she helps at the school, but her cottage yard is just filled with wildflowers, and like just absolutely like the entire scene is just filled with flowers, and it's like while they're talking about really kind of idealistic things, and so then in the end there's much more scenes of just kind of like the very picturesque things, the type of things that Matilda would have read about in her book, just so happen to exist in real life. And so that's really cool. But then contrasting with that, like the school that they go to is just all completely gray and almost like it doesn't look real because it's so gray and there's just no grass growing anywhere. It's just kind of, yeah. So it's kind of simple in that way, but it really does hold true to the different themes.
Yeah, for sure.
I have two quick practical questions. How long is it, and like what sort of age range would you say would be acceptable?
I mean, it was back in the time when people made movies like an hour and a half pretty standardly, so I think it's close to that, but I haven't looked it up recently. I did see this morning that it's on YouTube for free. I don't know if that's piracy, because I don't know. It was like this big channel. It didn't seem like it was high HD.
HD.
So,
It always is.
It always is. Stream Matilda free online HD.
Yeah.
Literally #1 pirate tag ever.
Well, it was just on YouTube, though. I never expect them to stay up for long on YouTube.
I have watched so many pirated TV shows on
Luke,
YouTube.
don't expose yourself.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not illegal though, and nobody knows where I live.
Okay.
Oh, an age range.
Age range,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's any ages. Like, I think it's made for families, so I think it's good for everyone. It's like the scary parts are scary. There's a lot of scenes with Miss Trunchbull that are scary, but it's not anything over the top, like, in terms of actual scary, like, themes. It's just she's a really scary person, so.
So, like, based on those scenes, though, what, like, would you say, like, 8, 10, 12?
Yeah, I would say 8, probably.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Okay, well, Claire, thank you. For the audience, remember to follow us on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. Check out our YouTube for the live stream and our new behind-the-scenes series. It's pretty funny, I've been told, but I don't know. I'm recording in my closet, so. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to Social Distance. Appreciate you guys.
Have a good weekend.
Go watch Matilda.